move the mic right here. Okay, you're live.
All right, we're live. Sorry, I had somebody texting going, are we live? Are you doing live online tonight? So yes, we are on, I think she was saying line app. So, well, we can be. Hold on. I have.
Would you like me to find something?
It's okay. We're gonna, little bit of technical difficulties. Not really difficulties. I'm just trying to go online so people on the Line app can also join us. So, here we go. Meditation group. I'm just gonna go live on that. Join with video. Okay, so we have hopefully there. All right, Donna. Hopefully, Donna. I'm on Line app, Donna, and I'm on YouTube. So whichever anybody's at is good. We got it all rolling tonight. So we were just talking about everybody in class has had some kind of, I'm going to say challenge, where someone has either spoken something to them or there's been some kind of drama or something created outside of them that really has nothing to do with them. So it's someone, not yourself, that is speaking to you or around you that is in a way making you're not okay, Donald's on YouTube. Good. Okay. In a way making you not, you're feeling kind of out of sorts when someone is saying something or it could even be yourself, saying something to yourself. And these are not true statements. Like Kathy was just saying that she was asking a question really, is the chatter in our minds, it's like a movie. It's not real. It's just something that we are making up inside of ourselves. This is true. This is what we do. It's not what our mind is telling us about yesterday or the future or about maybe someone else or something else. Those are all not truths. They're just something that our mind is chattering, and we are creating like a movie going on inside our mind. And so we sit and we watch that movie inside ourselves, right? We sit there and we watch it. Oh, yeah. And then we start to get sad or we start to get angry or we start to suffer. And that's because we didn't stop that movie. See, we can stop it. We can stop the movie and then be in this present moment. That's what the Vipassana meditation is you're paying attention to what this is doing in here. You're going, oh, that's not a truth. That's not real. That's not really what's happening. So I'm telling myself a story. I'm creating this movie in my mind of something that does not exist. Did it exist at one time? It could have. But does it exist now? That's the question. Because anything in the past doesn't exist anymore. So if it created suffering in the past, why do you want it to bring it into now? To create more suffering inside of yourself. It doesn't do right by yourself. See, we have to try to think about what we're doing to ourselves. This is all us. We're doing all of this to ourselves. Nobody else is doing it. So if we pay attention to our thoughts, right? If we pay attention to what's chattering, what's going on, then we can say, oh, wait, that's not a truth. I don't have to sit and watch this movie. Change the channel really quickly in your mind to the present moment. That's how you stop it. But if you let it go, you're going to suffer.
So if I'm having a conversation with Anna and she's telling me something that's bad going on in her life or whatever.
Yes.
In the conversation, I don't have to attach to what she's saying.
No,
And because it's not me.
that's correct.
But do I still have empathy for her?
Well, it depends on what you mean by empathy.
So
Do you still feel bad for her? Why? What good?
It doesn't. It's rethinking of conversations,
Yes.
and this is, to me, if I
It's a
think
big
in my
deal.
head, it is. So if I'm in a conversation and someone else says, okay, that's them, that's not their stuff, but her dog just got killed, but that's in the past, so I'm going to love her or do whatever it needs to be done,
You can't, no matter what you do, okay? No matter what you do, you can't take her pain away.
No.
Let's take the dog dying, okay? So, good, your dog died. It gets to go to its next lifetime, Nothing ever lasts forever.
Right.
Right? So, at some point your dog is going to die because it's not going to live forever. So, if you have that knowledge, then why do you have to suffer over it?
Right. And not, maybe Anna's the wrong example of that. And I don't want to attach to any of their conversation, but I don't want to.
You don't want to feel like you're heartless.
I don't, and I don't care that there's a natural part of care, not caring in my past life.
Mm-hmm.
Caring would be to feel sorry for her.
Yes, but that's not
not my life. So how and I'm just talking in regular conversation with people you have every day. How do you show? And I don't know if it's empathy or sympathy or.
Why do you need to show that?
So do I just not show anything?
Yeah, well, you can have a conversation and go,
Just listen.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You feel like what you're saying is, I need to fix it, or I need them to feel better in some way. I need to do something to make them feel better. You cannot. No matter what I do, I can't make y'all feel better. I can speak truth to you. I can say these things, but it's not my responsibility to make you feel better. And it's not your responsibility to make anyone else feel better. That's their responsibility.
And that's a big, big, big thing to learn.
Yes, because we're taught that we got to help everybody. And I'm not saying you don't help people. You do help people, but first you got to help yourself. And you cannot, whenever you get caught up in someone else's stuff, you are not helping yourself because it's not doing them or you any good whatsoever. It's just, adding to their misery. So two people, miserable doesn't make any sense, does it? No. So you don't have it like, for me, and I can just tell you from myself, right? I speak with each one of you at various times, right? And at various times, each one of you is going through a suffering of some sort, right? But I don't sit and go, oh, I'm so sorry. Let me help you feel better. I don't do that. What I do is I say, oh, is that true? Is that a truth inside of you? Is what you're telling you? What are you telling yourself? You need to know what you're saying inside your mind. And a lot of us don't know. We just go, and then all of a sudden we're sad. We don't know why we're sad. Then we got to go back through what made us sad. If we pay attention, right? If we're mindful, Sati, if we're mindful, and we're paying attention to what we're feeding our mind, what's going in. And when something that is going to create suffering pops up in your head, that might be somebody. When something that is creating suffering pops up in your head, you need to know.
There's a man
Yeah, if you can open it, it's probably Brian and his dad.
I'm gonna move over, I'm not moving
Okay.
away from you. I'm going to-
I think they like to sit in chairs. So. Hey, how are you?
How's everybody doing?
Good. So, if you want a chair, there's chairs. So, hi, Michelle. All right. So we were just going over what makes us suffer and how to stop the suffering. Can you put yourself on mute, Michelle? Thank you. So,
Do we need to get our stuff out?
That's what I'm doing. I'm just turning everything off.
okay. So if we know what's going on in our mind as it's happening, like you have to pay attention to what you're speaking inside your mind, right? I mean, if you just let this run, all of a sudden you're in the past and you're sad, angry, frustrated, all kinds of emotions are going in and you're not paying attention to why. But it's something that you are speaking. Got nothing to do with anybody else outside of you, although we try to blame everybody else. It's not everybody else. It's you. You're the only one making yourself suffer. We try to say, no, it's my ex, it's my, best friend, it's my sister, it's my brother, no, it's not. The only person that can make you suffer is you. And that's a hard one to grasp, but it's a truth. And what is making you suffer? The thoughts that are playing in here. And what are those thoughts? They're either about the past or the future. They're never this present moment making you suffer. It's you thinking about what happened yesterday or 10 minutes ago or an hour ago or so-and-so said this and that made me mad and now I'm going to da 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 da. You go through these things in your mind. So you are the driver. You're in control. You're playing that movie in your head. You're playing it. So you can stop it, throw it away. It's not doing you any good. Throw it away. Right? What does it do for you? Nothing but make you sad or angry or frustrated. And all of those things create sickness inside of you. They do. They create sickness. And so if you just let all that go, but you have to pay attention to what is being played, right? This is so important because I talk to a lot of people and they'll be like, I don't know why I'm sad. That's a story you're telling yourself. You are playing a victim. You're giving your power to something unknown. And you're saying, I don't know. Well, if you don't know, who does? Right? You have to pay attention inside yourself. This is you taking control of yourself. This is you having, complete control of you, of what's going on in your mind. So much of the suffering comes from things that we're not paying attention. We're not paying attention. And then all of a sudden, we're in sadness. Why are you sad? I don't know. Oh, you don't know? Well, where have you been? Right? Where have you been? I've been inside of my head. This is truth. This is a conversation that you should be having with yourself. Okay? Because then you will be speaking truth inside of yourself. So when you say, why am I sad? Or why am I angry? Or why am I frustrated? See? Why am I anxious? You need to ask yourself why you're that. Okay? And when you do, and you say, I don't know, that's a lie you're telling yourself. Because you do know. You just weren't paying attention. So you have to say, what was it I was just telling myself? See, because we sit and we have it chatter, chatter, chatter. We don't even know what we're saying. You have to pay attention. Be mindful of that. And so when you say, I don't know, then you say to yourself, yes, I do know. I was speaking to myself and it wasn't so good. So now I need to let that go. Just like that. You say it inside of yourself like that because you are the one that's going to fix you. I'm not going to fix you. I'm going to give you tools to fix yourself. Right? Nobody can fix you. We look outside of ourselves for people to fix us all the time. No one is going to fix you. You are going to fix you. And you can fix you by being mindful, number one. See, I put this little piece of paper down here tonight, right? I'm going to hold it up so people can see it, right? This is the path that will lead to non-suffering inside yourself. You have to have the right view. What are you telling yourself? The right thoughts. What are you thinking? Right? The right view is being in this present moment, not somewhere that doesn't exist, in this present moment, right? The right speech. What are you speaking? Inside and out. What are you speaking? If you're saying, I don't know, that's not the right speech. You have to tell yourself. You have to be honest with yourself. Don't tell yourself lies because then you'll never get to the bottom of what's creating this suffering inside of you. You have to speak the truth. It's hard to speak the truth to yourself sometimes because you've lied to yourself so much. Your entire life, you've told yourself a story. I don't have any control over this. That's a lie. You know, all this stuff just happens to me. That's a lie. You know, none of that is true. It doesn't just happen. It comes from thoughts that we have created inside our mind. And then then we do actions. See, we think a thought, then we do an action. And that action creates a reaction, right? And then it all comes back around. And we're thinking, well, how did that happen? Well, you started it in here. That's how it happens. You start with a thought inside of yourself. Try to break it down, you know, so that you can actually really see it. Because it's not. And so the other thing is we have to have the right livelihood. So what are you doing? Not just for work, but what are you doing? Are you sitting and thinking all this junk? Or are you getting up and doing something that's creating something good in your life? What are you doing? What's your effort? Now, I know Vanessa didn't really feel like coming here tonight, but she gave the effort. She drives from Charlottesville to come here. That's a huge effort to get here from Charlottesville. That's an effort, right? Kudos to you for giving the effort, Vanessa. Because I know that it was hard. You were tired. You didn't feel like coming. But you gave it an effort and you came. See? That's how your life changes. If you don't give it an effort, nothing changes. Right concentration. Right? Right mindfulness. So these are important things. We started way back when with those little things that take you on a path to healing yourself. That's really what it does. See, we're all a little broken in this world because we've been taught a bunch of stuff that creates suffering in us, and we've been taught to do it really well. You know, we've been taught to be a victim. You know, we've been taught to be a victim. It's always someone else's fault. No, it is not. Don't tell yourself that, because you will become empowered when you start speaking the truth inside of yourself. When you start saying, it's no one's fault but my own if I am suffering. I cannot blame it on someone else. This is my suffering. It's not someone else's suffering. And we started this tonight by saying, well, how do we have empathy for other people when they're suffering? You don't need to have empathy for other people when they're suffering. What does that do? Yeah, it does.
It gives them permission to keep suffering.
Right. Yes. Tell them, you know what? You can get out of this. You're strong. Enable them, instead of taking their power away, which is what we've all been taught to do. When I talk to you guys on the phone, when you call me, I'm not sitting there going, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, this is horrible for you. Am I? No, I'm not. I'm saying to you, well, what are you thinking? Why did it happen? Why are you talking to yourself like that? What is it doing for you, right? I'm asking the questions that you need to ask yourself. Because when you start doing that, it clears things out. And you start becoming strong. You start becoming this, I'm not going to enable myself to feel bad anymore. I'm going to help myself feel good. I'm going to create balance in my life by knowing what I'm speaking inside my mind. What are you speaking? Don't sit there and let it go wild, because then you're in trouble. You're going to create something in your life that you really don't want, right? So you have to just constantly pay attention, be mindful. That's what they mean by being mindful. It's not that every second of every day you're going to go, okay, wait, what am I thinking? What am I thinking? No, no, you don't. But when you start to feel something inside of you, and all of you do it, you'll start to feel sad or feel angry or feel, these emotions that you have. You need to take a check on yourself as soon as you start feeling them. Go, okay, what's going on? Because what's really going on? Most of the time, nothing. Right? Most of the time, nothing is really going on. All of a sudden, you've talked some crud in your mind, and then you've gone down a path, right? That you don't need to go down. If you know there's potholes in the road, right? There's these big potholes. And if you drive over them, you might even blow a tire or something, right? You're not going to take that road. You're going to go around those potholes, right? This is you in your mind. You got potholes in there. You need to know where they are and seal those things up. Don't let them come into you over and over again. Start telling yourself truth inside yourself. What's the truth? What is the truth? That's what you need to know inside yourself. The truth is, I'm here in this present moment. I'm breathing. Right? I took a breath. I felt that breath go inside my body, and then I felt it come out. Right? That's what was going on in that moment in time. Now that moment is gone. Never to return, that moment right there.
So this week on my phone, I set bells to ring every 30 minutes, especially during my work day, so that I will take a deep breath in that moment. It's kind of like a reminder. Where are you? That kind of thing. First day, those bells were a pain in my behind because it was like, I don't want you to remind me. And then again, I had a conversation with myself. Why did you set them? It's to take a deep breath, evaluate where you are in your mind. And I do that because at work, I can get real clogged up,
Yes,
know? And so it's like that. And I'm like, but it was interesting. I purposely did it. And then I was purposely angry at myself for doing it because it was like, how dare you do this to yourself,
Right.
But
then you got used to it, right?
Right. And then it was like, and so it's a good thing. If nothing else, at that 30-minute break, I close my eyes and I exhale and inhale. And that grounds me back to,
right.
You are okay. You are Kathy. You're fine. Oh,
And
your ego is telling you this. Let it go. It's a time to reevaluate.
Yes, because the ego will sneak up on you. It's a little booger. It'll get you, and it's not necessary. But it does it to a lot of people, a whole lot of people. but it's not necessary. And really, once you start telling yourself the truth, it's humbling too. You know, you humble yourself to know that, you know what, I'm okay. I'm not better than anyone else, right? But I'm okay. I'm here in this present moment. You know, it's a process, and the only way to do it is do it. You know, the only way to do it is do it. You can't, no one else, I can't say this enough, no one else can do it for you. You have got to do it yourself. And if you have to set an alarm to bring yourself here in this present moment. Because when you're spending time not in this present moment, you're spending time going down the suffering road. Going down the road where you're going to be somewhere you really don't want to be. Maybe you do want to be there. I don't know. Maybe you don't want balance and don't want, I don't know. This is you. You got to decide that for yourself. We all do. I went down that road. I went down many roads to get to where I am today. I'm on the non-suffering bus, right? That's where I am. I'm not going to suffer. I balance myself on a constant basis because I don't want to suffer. I tell myself truth all the time. I forgive myself for the things that, nobody's perfect. So we all do something that we're like, I hadn't done that. Oh, it's okay. Right? It's okay. Forgive yourself for that. Let it go. See, the secret is after you forgive yourself, you have to let it go. Because if you just sit in there and you keep tormenting yourself over something you've done, you're not letting it go and you're just staying in that past where you don't want to be, right? It's like a vicious cycle we do for ourselves. But yes.
And the past has a way of exaggerating itself too.
It does.
And so that it's
may never
have been
real.
Something little, it's now this big mountain that I created all in my mind.
Yes. Every time.
And
it's just a creation in your mind every single time. Right? And we all can relate to it. We all know that that's just a creation that we put in our mind, and then it's not real because whatever it is, like we tend to think the worst. Okay, so we're going to make a plan. We got to talk to somebody, whether it be work or whether it be family members, whatever. So we got to talk to them. And so in our mind, we create this whole scenario of garbage that isn't true. And we're like, oh, well, this is what's going to happen, and I don't want to do it. Yes.
My daughter and going to the retreat.
Yes.
I had all, so I talked to her and she's like, oh, Mom, that's great. It works out good anyways because I'm going to go do this anyway.
Yeah. Right. So that's the thing. When you create stuff in your mind, it's not real. It's not real.
that's so wild, isn't it? I mean, we've lived in an unreal world for
Yes.
57 years.
Yes. Yes. And now you don't have to live there anymore.
That's
You
wild.
know. But it's hard. It's a hard concept to actually grasp because we're so used to being in that, being in the suffering in the past, talking about the past continually. You cannot have a conversation with hardly anybody that they're not going to go into the past or into the future. They can't talk about right this second. Oh, what are you doing now? Oh, I'm hanging out with you. What are you doing? Hanging out with you. That's beautiful, right? That would be the conversation.
Right.
But then somebody is going to go, oh, well, you know what happened to me last week? And then there you go. You're in the past. Right. And you have journeyed into their past with them. And then everybody is suffering. Oh, that was awful. Yeah, that was all. And then you have this whole conversation of something that doesn't exist anymore. Like, it might as well be a movie on the movie screen. That's the truth, because it doesn't exist anymore. If it happened before, it's not happening this second. It doesn't exist anymore. It's already done. It's gone. It's over with.
How about when you reflect back on the past for
Mhm.
your experience, so you have knowledge to go forward in the present, but not get drawn back to the past, and then you come across people who want to bring you back to the past because they're evil or that's the nature of them, and it's like
Well,
it's a
I would
difficult
say
situation of how you can live in the moment and let go of it.
yes.
But these are the outside forces of people that.
But they don't. They just because they say something to you doesn't mean you have to go with them.
Right.
You know, if someone is bringing your past up, this is what I do. I'm going to tell you what I do, and they can vouch for it because it's true. Yep, that was me before, but that's not me today.
That's a good answer.
You know, that was my past life, and I'm not there anymore. So if you want to be there, I'm okay with that, but I'm not going to go there with you. And I speak it just like that. I'll get up and leave rooms because I'm protecting myself. See, I can't do anything about anybody else. They may continue to talk and da 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 da. Okay, they can talk. I'm not going to go with them down that road. Yeah, and you don't have to either. I don't care who it is. If they want to bring up your past, you can say, you know what, I'm not going to talk about my past because that's not me today. But if you want to talk about it, then I'm not going to be here. I'm going to go somewhere else. That's okay. I'm okay with you if that's what you want to do. See, you can't stop them from speaking. So that's not in your power. Hey, you cannot do it. I don't care how much you try, you cannot do it.
And at least for me, it's hard to say, if you're going to go there, then I'm not going to be there, because I seem to like if it was my mom, right?
Mm-hmm.
I seem to love her and have to respect her to sit here and listen to that, where I should love and respect myself enough not to hear that.
I say it to my father, not in a mean way, but if he brings up my past, I will say, you know what, Dad, that was me before. That's not me today. Do I look like that same person? And he'll say no. And I said, so it really isn't even real today at all. And he goes, no, it's not.
And that would shut so many people up
Right,
too. I
right.
mean, really.
It's just speaking the truth.
Right.
Okay.
Because you're not giving them any ground. I mean,
No.
the
You're
reality
saying,
is-
oh, I was like that, but I'm not like that now. So,
Right.
you know, if you want to, you can speak about it. I'm not saying you can't speak about it. I'm just saying I'm not going to participate in that conversation. So I'll remove myself from it. I'm okay with you doing whatever you want to do. See, because you cannot control them. If you try to control it, it's going to create anger and frustration inside of you. Because it's not about you, it's about them. If they're bringing up your past, got nothing to do with you. I'm going to tell you that, 100%. If they're bringing up your past, it's got nothing to do with you. It has to do with them inside of themselves. Their anger, their frustration, their, resentment. That's what it is. So they're bringing it up because they want you to feel like they feel. But you don't have to do that. You don't have to go there. You can just be like, okay, I'm going to enjoy my life. I'm going to be at peace. I'm going to be in balance. And for me to do that, I can't stay in my past. I have to be in my present. And so if you want to go in the past, go ahead, but it's going to create suffering. It's going to create suffering for them. They're already in suffering. They're bringing up your past, they're in suffering.
That's normally the case.
Yes. And so if you just know this inside yourself, we don't have to defend ourselves. You'll never have to defend yourself because you know who you are. So the only person you would have to defend yourself to is yourself. That's a crazy thought, isn't it? but it's true. Anything else is ego. You try to convince somebody that you are better than, or you are, you're that. But you're not going to convince anybody. You can't even convince yourself.
So it's also our ego that tells us we're not good enough, right?
Yes. Yes, it is. See, the ego it destroys people. And that's the truth about it. When you have an ego, it's not good. Self-love is a whole lot different than an ego. See, self-love is being kind to yourself. Self-love is knowing that we're all the same, There's no reason to think that we're any better or any worse than anyone else. We're all the same. This is true. We drive these cars around, these vehicles that we're in, but we're all the same. And so when we realize this, we don't need to convince someone of our goodness. Because when you are goodness, people already know it. When you truly have loving kindness in your heart, people know you are loving kindness. They don't come at you. I can tell you this for sure, because there were times when I wasn't loving kindness, right? And I had all kinds of junk coming at me. But when you just create loving kindness in your heart for yourself first, see, we got to fix ourselves. Because we've spent a long time in this stuff that we've been doing, talking to ourselves bad, really, daily we talk to ourselves in not so good ways. So we have to practice at being kind to ourselves, knowing the truth inside your heart. There's not a person here that doesn't have goodness in their heart. I know this to be true. But you need to know it. Doesn't matter what I think of you. What do you think of you? See, this is important, because when you spend time downing yourself, that's what you feel. You just feel down because you've spent time just talking down to yourself. But when you start talking kind to yourself, then you start feeling kind. And then you start generating that kindness out. It's a practice. You have to practice at it, because really we've spent a lifetime of not practicing that. And you feel it inside of yourself. But when you practice it, even if it's just for a minute, you feel this goodness. You all of a sudden you're like, I am a kind person, right? And you start realizing this inside of yourself. And the more you realize it, then it's funny, because the more you do it, the less you have to do it, because then it becomes a habit. See, we've been in the habit of downing ourselves. You have a conversation, you say this, so this is a normal conversation for anyone who is not mindful, okay? They'll say, oh, your hair looks good. Oh, you think so? Right? Oh, you think so? Oh, it's a mess, right? That's a reaction,
Right. Just saying thank you.
Right. So it's automatically, we've done it for so long. It's like, oh, we can't even accept a compliment with a thank you, right? Because we're not used to being kind to ourselves. So if somebody else is kind to us, well, no, that can't be right. My hair's a mess, right? It happens all the time. I hear it. Like, I can't go out of the house without hearing people talking bad about themselves. And they don't even realize they're doing it. This is important. You have to know what you're saying to yourself. This is huge, because when you know, then you can start changing, flipping that script, and start being kind to yourself. When you recognize, oh, that wasn't a nice thing I just said to myself. Let me say something nice, replace it. Right? It's important. When you say something that's not nice to yourself, you need to replace it right away with something kind. How many do that? Nobody, right? But if you start doing that, you're creating a new habit. See? We've had this habit all your life. You've had this habit of being down on yourself, right? So you have to create a new habit. And the way to do that is when you say something negative, say something kind. Right away. Start recognizing inside yourself, ooh, what was that? That wasn't kind. Let me replace it. Say that to yourself. See, I'm telling you how I did it. I did that because I was the world's greatest at talking bad to myself. So I really had to practice at not doing that and know what I was saying to myself on a regular basis. Recognizing when you say something like, oh, that was stupid. That's not kind to yourself. Even we say it all the time, right? People say it all the time. That was really stupid. I don't know why I did that. No, don't say that about yourself. No, I'm not stupid. I'm smart. See? Reverse it. Every time. And then you'll start not saying it and replacing it with the good all the time. But you have to practice. If you don't practice at it, what happens? You're practicing the other. I say it every week, right? If you're not practicing being kind to yourself, you're practicing being mean to yourself. You can't do both at the same time. You can only do one. You can only have one thought at a time. Only one. You can't talk and listen at the same time. You can only do one thing at a time. When I'm talking, I can't breathe. I have to stop to breathe. True. It's true. So if we're slow down, we're all in a hurry. So we're trying to hurry up, right? For what? Slow down. Pay attention to your thoughts. What am I saying? Am I being kind to myself? Question yourself. This is you working on you. This is your job. You may have a job in this world that you go to get paid, but your job in this world is to take care of yourself first, to be kind to yourself first, so that you can do that with other people. See, if I didn't do it with me, I certainly couldn't help you guys, right? There'd be no way I could help you guys. I'd be a hot mess. But I'm not that. Because I practice on a daily basis, all day long. I'm practicing all day long. I'm not practicing being mean. I'm not practicing suffering. I'm practicing being kind, and I'm practicing balance inside myself all day long. What are you practicing? You're either doing one or the other. What are you practicing? So you have to ask yourself this. What am I practicing right now? Am I practicing being kind to myself, or am I practicing not being kind to myself? And if it's not being kind to yourself, flip the script. Okay, well, now I can be kind to myself, right? Because you don't have to stay in whatever it is you're doing that's negative to yourself. You don't have to stay in it. The minute you realize what you're doing, you can stop it and then speak something kind. Speak something kind. it's very hard sometimes for people to do that for themselves. I'm not exactly sure why, other than we're just used to not speaking kindly to ourselves. But immediately when you say something not nice, say something nice. Say something nice to yourself. You know, I don't care what it is. Oh, I have nice hair, or I can breathe from my stomach instead of my chest today, or you know, whatever it is, just say something nice. You know? Because if you don't, you're losing yourself. And you don't need to lose yourself. Be kind. Be loving. We are that to everyone but ourselves. It's kind of funny, right? We try to help everybody. Like we started out tonight, you asking me, well, how do I have empathy, or you know, how do I do this when someone's telling me something, and oh, you don't. You do for yourself. Because you feeling bad for somebody doesn't help them. It just makes you feel bad too. That's all it does. But now you can start just speaking kindly to yourself. You know, this is a huge thing, right? It's so important because even some of the monks and nuns don't do that, you know? They're on their journey. We're all on a journey, right? We're all in this world. We're on a journey. We're trying to get where? Where do we want to be?
At peace.
At peace. Yeah, at balance. You know, some people don't know where they want to be. Some people, I don't know. I don't know where I want to be. I just know it's not here. Well, it's a start. You know, it's a start to know that you don't want to be in suffering. That's a start. So if you don't want to be in suffering, then the opposite of that is being in balance, right? And in order to balance yourself, you have to get rid of some of the negative things that you say to yourself and bring in some positive. Balance it out. You're still going to say things that aren't so kind about yourself. But if you bring in the goodness, it balances it out. And then pretty soon you'll stop saying those things because you'll realize the truth is you are a loving person. See, the problem is you don't realize it yet. But it's a truth. And the more you practice at saying this to yourself, the more this will go away and the balance will come. But so it's we don't do it. We don't practice it. We practice at being, mean to ourselves. But you don't have to practice that. You can practice being kind. And it's beautiful when that happens. I'm telling you, I can only speak for myself. But it's miraculous what happens in your life when, all kinds of things happen every week to me. Am I lying? Vanessa knows. Every week, all kinds of things come at me, right? All kinds of things. Like in one night, I get this message from the airlines that my flight, because I'm supposed to be going back to Thailand, has been changed because COVID's in Thailand now. And so, and what was the other thing?
And the house.
The house, there was a house. I do real estate, right? I was supposed to have a closing. Didn't have a closing. Things happen. See, I can't even remember what happens because it doesn't matter.
It was like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
One time within like an hour.
Yeah. But it doesn't matter. See, I could have gone down that spiral of, oh my God, da 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 da. But it didn't matter. It was already done by the time I hit my phone. Right? That's the truth. So what did it matter? I couldn't change it. It was already finished. Okay. I'm moving on now. Right? That's how I do it. Because it doesn't matter. It's already finished. Me getting upset about it wouldn't change it. You know, nothing would change what occurred. So, you know, I called the people who needed to know. Fix that. They were all fine. See? I didn't go through a scenario in my mind, oh my God, they're gonna do this and that and da 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 da. No. I called them, I told them. They were fine.
Are you still going to Thailand?
Yes, I am, but I'm not sure exactly when. I called the airline tonight and they said, wait until the week before you're supposed to go and then because it could change again. So we don't know. It's uncertain. Nothing's certain in this world. See, if we know that just knowing that is beautiful because you can be like, oh, well, it might happen, it might not, I don't know.
And that's everything. Right?
That's everything in this world.
Exactly.
Like, what do we really know that's going to happen?
No.
We don't know anything. Anything could happen in between what you think is going to happen.
It's just that's it.
Yes,
That
just
is what it
being
is.
present in this moment because this is all there really is. And if we understand that, it makes life so much easier because you're living in this moment. I'm not saying you can't plan. I made a plan to go to Thailand, right? But that plan may or may not happen exactly when I thought it was going to happen. If I get upset about it, it's not going to change anything.
No.
So this is how, I get things all the time. All the time. It's a constant, because that's this world that we live in. It's uncertain. Nothing lasts forever. This is a certainty, right? Nothing lasts forever. Nothing in this world lasts forever. So we know that is a truth, right? But that's all we really know. Because other than that, it's a crapshoot. So it's a great adventure if you let it be. It really is. It's like, what's going to happen next? I don't know. Well, good. Bring it on. I learned that really well in Thailand because when I landed, I didn't speak the language and I didn't know where I was going. I had to just let go and be in that present moment. Worked out beautifully for me. I went to India, didn't know where I was going, didn't speak the language. On a bus with 30 people that don't speak English, right? But it worked out. I made friends on that bus. It was a good time. Taught me a lot. A whole lot.
I'm sorry.
Really?
Not really. It is. I can't. My phone's ringing.
It is what it is, right?
It is.
It'll ring until it stops. That's the way it works. Nobody cares. It doesn't matter, right? What does it matter? See, it stopped. This is life. No reason to be sorry. It is what it is. Did you make your phone ring?
I did not.
No, you didn't. There it is. So just little things like this.
Right.
That was a prime example. It was beautiful it rained. Because then we could use that. Right? All the time in our life, things like this happen. Doesn't matter. We make things so big when they're so small. None of it matters. So I'm going to tell a story, and my sister-in-law may or may not kill me, but I'm going to do it anyway. So while I was gone the other day, and I usually cook dinner when I'm home, but I wasn't home, so she decided she was going to have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or something like that. And I get the almond butter. And, you know, if anybody's ever got almond butter, they know that there's a film of oil on top, and it's pretty hard to stir that stuff up. So my brother says, I got this, and he takes a mixer. And he said, he stuck it down in, but he didn't have a hold of the jar very well. And so when he thought when he pushed the button it wouldn't turn on, that was just the on off button. He thought that he would have to push one of the buttons that had the speed on it, but that wasn't a truth, okay? So when he pushed the on button, it came on, and it flung everything all over everywhere, right? All over, like my sister-in-law was covered in peanut butter. He was covered in peanut butter. The floor had peanut butter. So
The dog is going, yes.
yeah, the dog is like, whoa. But you know, in that moment, there's a choice, right? In that moment when something goes awry, right? You can either be angry or laugh. That's your option, right? So if you get angry, it just creates it inside of you, right? But if you laugh, something beautiful happens, right? So when I heard this story, I did laugh because I knew, just like you guys knew, what was going to happen before it took place, you know. But here we are. These are our choices. And we can look at things as bad or good or neither, you know. Him doing that with the peanut butter wasn't bad or good. It just was, you know. You can't change it. You can clean it up, you know, but you can't, there's nothing, what are you going to do? You can't roll back the hands of time and redo it, you know. And then he did hold it and get it mixed up really well, he said, after that. But, you know, these are beautiful lessons, right? Little things like this throughout your life, if you're paying attention, they're beautiful lessons. Like they're teaching you something. What are they teaching you? You're going to be in misery? You're going to be happy? What are you going to, you're going to balance yourself? What are you going to do? Life is teaching you. You don't have to take everything as, oh my God, what is going to happen? No. Just be like, oh, okay, this happened. Okay, it happened. Right? It doesn't have to be all upset and craziness, right? And it, you know what, we need a light because this is really it looks dark. Yeah. There you go. Because they can't, it was dark in here, they couldn't see. So this is life. This is how life is. If we take it and realize just what it is what it is. See? That little saying, it is what it is. That's beautiful. Because it really is. It is what it is. It's nothing more than that, nothing less than that. We don't have to get upset about it. We don't have to, you know, it just is, it is what it is. This is just a bottle of water. It's just water. It is what it is. There's nothing more to it. But we create these things that are more inside of us. We play a movie in our mind and we create this thing that we think is real, but it's not real at all. Because when the situation actually comes about, it's nothing like what we had envisioned in our mind at all. So we know we're telling ourselves stories all the time, right? We know that it's just a made up thing that we're telling ourselves. So it's much better this is just for me, in my opinion. You know, I like living my life in this present moment. where there isn't suffering, where there's balance, where you can see things for what they are. They are just that. Nothing more, nothing less. Doesn't have to be suffering. It can just be that. And when you get that, when you grasp that, you can set yourself free. It sets you free. It's a freedom that you set yourself free. So I've talked, and it's 8:05. Time goes by so fast, doesn't it? All right. So do you guys want to do a little meditation real quick? All right. So get comfortable. And I won't do long because, it's already after time. So take a deep breath in. Let it out. In. Let it out. And one more time, in and out. And just let your mind settle down. If a thought comes in, you're going to look at that thought and let it go. Don't hold on to it. So we're practicing the Vipassana meditation when we're aware of our thoughts. Breathing in, breathing out. If you have a thought, just look at it. It's just a thought. And then let it go. Take another breath in. Feel your breath. Don't just take it in. Let it feel it. Feel it as it goes down into your lungs and throughout your whole body. You're giving oxygen to your body when you breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Where's your mind? Be present. Don't let it go. Breathe in. Breathe out. Now I'm going to do the Pato. Metta ceto vimuttaya, karuna ceto vimuttaya, mudita ceto vimuttaya, ubeka ceto vimuttaya. Breathe in. Let go of all the junk. All right. Hopefully everybody understood what I was saying tonight and you could hear me. How you doing, Michelle? You good? All right. Okay, Donna, I love you, Michelle. I love you, Donna. Everybody else that's on. Ah, is that Vivian? Who is that? Vivian?
It's Vivian.
Hi, Vivian. I love you, Vivian.
Here she comes. That's all, Miss Kim.
Hey, girly girl. Have a good night.
See?
All right. I'll see everybody next week.